The Vegas Golden Knights are in kind of a weird position right now. Not only have they only been in the league for 5 years, entering on six, but they've already made deep runs in the playoffs. They've already made it to the Stanley Cup Finals, but they've also already missed the playoffs before. They've already had some heartbreak. They've already had coaching changes twice. There's a lot of turmoil that's going on within the organization at this very moment. And that's what I want to talk about right now is kind of the future of this team, from players to whomever the coach may be, just the whole organization in general. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. Now, this is not going to be any crazy in-depth video. This is going to be more of kind of just a communication, a chat with each other, even though we're not directly talking to each other, but the comments and stuff, just like a conversation is what this video is going to be more like. I don't have no whiteboard having statistics or anything like that. But if this is your first time on the channel, my name is John. This is the Sports Advocate. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It truly means a lot. If you enjoy this content, give me a like or a dislike. Give me some criticism down below. Give me a prediction for Vegas Golden Knights in the next 3 years. How many times do you think that they will make playoffs? Whether that's 0 or all 3, go ahead and do it. Also, if you really enjoy this content, go ahead and hit subscribe because I have content daily about NFL, NHL, and NBA. I'd really appreciate it, and I do think you guys will enjoy the content if you enjoy this video. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and get right into this video. The Vegas Golden Knights just fired their coach, Pete DeBoer. They released some of his assistant coaches and side coaches and all that stuff, and some of the remaining coaches will have an opportunity to stay with the team when someone new gets brought in. Whether that coach wants his coaching tree to involve those guys or not, the decision will be made later. But we don't know who they're going to sign right now. Now there's a lot of options. There is Barry Trotz. There is two Johns. I don't want to mess up the last name. I'm not even gonna try. There's two Johns. I don't remember their last names. There's Barry Trotz, and then there's a couple other options that maybe Vegas fans won't be so excited to get. But nonetheless, Vegas needs a head coach. So someone will be signed hopefully very soon. I think we all expected the announcement to come at that press conference the same day they fired Pete DeBoer. It was not. They said that they're now starting to look into coaches, which a little bit worrisome that they weren't already doing that. But what does a coach have to look forward to if he comes on this team? What does the organization have to look forward to? So the key things is a lot of injuries that have been occurring last year, and we have surgeries on two very important players that have just occurred within this last week or this morning. I believe Mark Stone's surgery was this morning. Mark Stone, the captain of the team, of course, is getting surgery. He is a left winger, I do believe, on the first or second line, depending on how line shuffles work. He's getting surgery. He is expected to be able to return by the start of next season, which is great news. But these guys aren't getting any younger. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I've had a lot of conversations with fans on Twitter about this very same sentiment, about the fact that the age of the Vegas Golden Knights, they feel like they're aging out of the championship zone, like they're about to miss it. And with missing playoffs this past year, I feel like that only amplified it by a large margin. But nonetheless, another major injury is Robin Lehner. He had surgery on his was his shoulder or his back, I'm not sure. He's had injuries to both now, and he had surgery this past week or two, somewhere around within the past month or so. He's had surgery. I think it was right before the season was ending. Now he's had surgery. That's our starting goalie. Yes, we have Logan Thompson, who has looked incredible in the Canada games that he's been participating in. But again, Robin Lehner's not getting any younger. What are the chances that he returns to full health? And if he doesn't, what is the next option? You have Logan Thompson, of course, who looks incredible. And I think a lot of people think he could easily step into that starting role, and me as well. I believe that very well. I think he's definitely a starting goalie capable, and I would really appreciate and enjoy watching him as that starter. Robin Lehner would be a great 1A, 1B with him. But what happens if Robin Leonard continues to have these injuries, these surgeries, or you decide to trade him, or whatever this new coach decides to do? Are you bringing in a different goalie in free agency? You don't have a lot of cap for it, but if you move Robin Leonard, you're going to have more cap. Are you going to sit on Robin Leonard if he gets injured? Your backup's Laurent Brossoit. I don't know how to feel about that. He did not look incredible when he played during the year. Now, there was some times when he was looking very confident in himself, but it was not consistent. Now, there is a goalie for the Silver Knights, Henderson Silver Knights, that has looked very good, and a lot of people are expecting him to play at least a couple games for Vegas this coming season. His name is like Pennant, something of that sort, I do believe. I hope that I'm not mixing up names or saying it wrong. I believe his name is Pennant, and he's looked very good. He has a very good save percentage, and yes, it is the lower league of the NHL, but nonetheless, you're going against very similar competition to yourself. And as we saw with Logan Thompson, once Logan Thompson entered the NHL, he stepped his game up more, and he was prepared for it, which makes me kind of less worried about a possible another one coming up. And not only Mark Stone and Robin Leonard, who are two incredibly important pieces, but you have a lot of other players that are getting injuries and you may be worried about. Jack Eichel apparently was playing with a broken finger the last couple weeks of the season. Obviously just came off of his big surgery on his neck. Max Pacioretty and Pietrangelo, both of them kind of a little bit of health worry. Pietrangelo a little bit more, Patches a little bit more. He's not getting any younger. I think he's mid-30s. And not only that, but now you got to talk about free agents. Unrestricted free agents and restricted free agents. You got Riley Smith, who darn near the captain of this team. He has looked incredible when he's on the ice. The team's immediately better. He leads the team in a lot of statistical categories for the entire career of the franchise and for last year when he was on the ice, and especially the previous year before that. You also have Zach Whitecloud, who a lot of people see a possible future in him being the leader of that defense. He's looked very, very good. He's looked good in Canada as well with Logan Thompson. You have to re-sign him at some point. There's a couple other smaller pieces in there. Brett Howden, I believe, is in there. Some people wanted to bring him back. There's a lot of players that maybe don't seem like they have major roles on this team, but I guarantee if they walk, you're looking at a completely different team that doesn't work in the same way. And the team already doesn't have a whole lot of cap, so you're not going to be able to bring them all back. You're going to have to move some people from the lower tier up, which the Vegas doesn't have an incredible pool of young talent, but they definitely have some players. They definitely have plenty of options, but are they going to be able to step up fast enough in time to stay within the window of opportunity for the championship? That's another question. Also, do you have enough money to bring in somebody in free agency? If you get to that point, you can't bring back the people you want. Do you have enough money for that? That's also really going to be extremely tough. It's going to be quite a few years before Vegas ends up with the cap space movability that some of these other teams have to be able to go and get somebody because Jack Eichel, because Max Pacioretty, because Mark Stone. Yes, they're great players, they're incredible players, but because they're incredible players, you're paying them a lot, which means you don't have a whole lot of cap space. And not only that, but you just fired your coach. And yes, Pete DeBoer really lost the ears of his team. And if you don't know what that means, it means that they don't listen to him as much as they should have. So now you got to bring in a new coach. You have to make sure that the coach clicks right away, which has been something that's worked very well for this organization so far. It seems like they bring in a new coach and he does well right away. Great news. Every coach that's been on this team has been 500 winning. Incredible again. But you have to bring in a new coach. Hope that they click right away. Hope that they like your roster, which I assume they would because the roster is very good. You're going to probably like the weather. It's warm year-round. So the outside of hockey, the head coaching position in Vegas looks very, very potent. That's not the right word. It looks enticing. It looks extremely enticing. On ice, though, although the roster looks very good, there's a lot of question marks surrounding that roster. Excuse me, guys. Not only money-wise, but with the people you do have and the people you are paying a lot of money to, are they going to be able to, stay healthy? Are they going to be able to be a part of this team long term? Are you going to have enough free will money to bring in people that you still want on the team or new people to the team? Are you going to have to make a change at goalie? There's still a ton of questions surrounding that roster spot. Yes, Vegas seems incredible to live in. I don't live there, obviously, but it seems incredible. The weather's great. You have plenty of activities and stuff to do. The arena is great. The practice facility is great. The team looks very good. The organization, the leaders of the organization, I should say, the front office, a lot of back and forth between fans and analysts and all that stuff that maybe say it's a good front office and some people say it's not. But there's still a lot of question marks. So now it's kind of time to not really make predictions, but do that slight little analyst. And that's what I'm going to have some more in-depth videos. But let's do a slight little analyst kind of deep dive into this team. Who are they going to bring in? I don't know. For this situation, I'm going to assume Barry Trotz. I think that's a lot of people's favorites. He was spotted in Vegas a couple days back. He was also at the Islanders, or not the Islanders. He was somewhere else. My brain just died. He was from the Islanders, got fired. He has appeared in Vegas here in the past few days. I'm going to assume Barry Trotz gets brought to the team. That is my hope. That's what I really want. But also, I think that's one of the more likely outcomes of the scenario. What does he do? Now, there was reports he doesn't like Logan Thompson. I don't think he's going to move on from Logan Thompson after how well he did last year, as well as how well he's doing with Canada right now at this very moment. Mark Stone has to stay on the team pretty much. Pacioretty has to stay on the team pretty much. You can move Robin Lehner. Who are you going to bring in for Robin Lehner? You're probably doing a goalie trade at that point. Vegas does not have tons of picks, especially this year. They don't have their first-round pick. They went to the Buffalo Sabres. They do have next year's, I do believe. Hopefully that's correct. They have the second-rounders. But how much is that going to bring in immediate? Because if you don't know, normally you draft a player and you draft a player before they even play all their college years. And then they come to your bottom league team, like the Silver Knights or whatever. And then you might bring them up if you enjoy them. So it could be anywhere from only 2 years to 6 to 8 years before that draft pick finally produces into something that will be on your roster. So it's a pretty big gap. It's not like the NFL or NBA where you draft somebody, they're on your team, and they're being a star right away. It's quite a big gap. So you don't have tons of rookie capital. You have some options for young talent that have already proven themselves on the Silver Knights. But cap space, I think that's the biggest question mark. That's what a lot of people have been bickering about since Jack Eichel was brought to the team in that trade long past, is cap space. And although I am not as worried about it because of the amount of finagling I've seen in the NFL for cap space, it's still a worry because you have these big contracts and because you'll have to scratch players at times when you need to. Now, Vegas did make a way to have them all play. Robin Lehner, Mark Stone, Jack Eichel, all of these people played at the same time at the end of the season there. You didn't have Riley Smith, though. I don't know if you can fit Riley Smith with them all as well. And how much are you going to pay Zach Whitecloud? It's going to be more expensive than what he is now. It's going to get tough here. Players that we enjoy are going to move on, and that's just business. It's business. You're going to have to move people that you enjoy because of money situations, and it's going to happen, and it's going to happen soon, like this year. Once the coach gets signed, probably a week or two, and there'll be a lot of movement, releases, things like that. Well, I assume a coach will get signed either this week, and it'll be Barry Trotz, or when the new year starts is when I anticipate that a new coach will be brought in, like officially brought in. So it could be right away or it could be a long while, which can be worrisome because at times that might lead to your head chairman, your general manager, stepping in and making actions for the team And that has not panned out incredibly well for other organizations in other sports or even this sport. A little bit of worry there. Lots of question marks. But let's be honest. This team was right outside the playoffs within a few games. And the injuries were a major reason to that. And some of the coaching that Pete DeBoer decision-making was also part of it. So if you bring in someone like Barry Trotz, who I say is a better coach than Pete DeBoer, and you bring in Barry Trotz to a roster that's better than most rosters he's had, even when he won the Stanley Cup, I think this roster is probably up to par with that roster when healthy. Keyword there, of course. You're fixing your coach right there with Barry Trotz or someone of that nature. Quickly like that, it's fixed. Now you're working on injuries. That's sometimes out of your hands, but that can still be worked on. You can still practice certain fitness things, certain weightlifting tactics to reinforce those tendons, muscles, joints, give them extra backup strength so that when a weird angle gets taken or something, you're not getting injured and you're able to return faster. And that's something that will come in with a new coach. He'll bring in new trainers and stuff, which will assist in that. So those aren't two big worries. And the fact that Vegas only missed by a few games last season, I think brings a lot to this team that they still think that they're right there on the cusp, which I do believe. Now, some other fans maybe don't, but I do believe that they're still right on the cusp. And with that being said, if I were to make my prediction on the next 3 years, how many times do they make playoffs, I'm going to say 2 of 3 or 3 of 3. And I think if Vegas does miss a playoffs, it will be in 3 years when the cap catches up to them. I think they make playoffs next year. No matter who the coach is, as long as they're healthy, I think they make playoffs. This roster is too good to miss it when healthy. Jack Eichel has another year in the scheme. Mark Stone, healthy, coming off of his injury. Robin Leonard, hopefully healthy. Logan Thompson, another year in the scheme. Zach Whitecloud likely comes back. Plenty of time in the scheme, able to age a little bit. Maybe you bring up some of these guys on this Henderson Silver Knights who also get time in the organization and time to improve and grow. You still have Max Pacioretty. You still have Alex Pietrangelo. You still have Alec Martinez. Hopefully you have Riley Smith. This roster is incredible. And that was just the top 2 lines. Not only these lower lines, William Karlsson. Yeah, his contract's maybe not the greatest, but you're not going to move on from him. It's going to be very hard to move on from him. And I think he still has a lot left in the tank. I think he's just been in a bad situation a little bit. Brett Howden, who hopefully comes back. Ben Hutton, who hopefully comes back. I think he is also... One of those two is, for sure. The other one might not be. I might be mixing up the name. There is plenty of incredible future and current depth and superstar talent on this team right now, and that can prosper and become that in the future. Talent's not the issue. Health is the issue. Coaching is the issue. Coaching up specific things such as power play and helping your defense on those rebounds is an issue. Shootout is an issue. And those are all coaching things. I think a coach fixes a lot of the issues for Vegas. But the cap's going to catch up. So you got to move somebody, which is going to hurt because it's going to be someone that we all enjoy, such as Karlsson. Hopefully not Stone. I don't expect it to be Stone. Or Pacioretty is going to be someone like that. It's going to happen sooner than we want. Or you're going to enter cap purgatory. There's another word that you could use there, but I like to try and keep it family-friendly for the most part. And you're going to be in a position for a couple of years there where you can't do much of anything. And you're just drafting to get young talent so that you don't have to buy big free agents. But let it be known, although it's a new team, and maybe the cap is not as incredible as some of these other teams that have been in league 10 years, like a long tenure, not literally 10 years. Maybe, I think it will, Vegas can still become a free agent hotspot. I truly think that. Yes, it's a new team, but Vegas is an incredible location. The team has shown incredible poise and the ability to get to that big moment. and play well in those bigger moments, I think this can become a free agent hotspot, and I think it can happen fast. But you have to get out of your cap situation at this moment. Whether that's just outplaying it and playing well enough to grasp at the playoffs until you escape that cap situation and then you move on and do like a retooling. I don't think it's a rebuild, a retool. I think that's what we're in right now. It's a retool, no rebuild. People who say rebuild don't really know what a rebuild is. That's when you trash your whole team. But I think coaches fix a lot of the issues, and then health, and then cap. In that order is the importance that I see things. Coach, cap, health. Wait, coach, health, cap. That's how I meant it. Coaching is going to be able to fix a lot of your issues. Power play to shootout to defense. Fixing a lot of the issues and will immediately impact the team and allow them to do well this year, next year, and future. Health is you're going to help your coach because he doesn't have to set up a bunch of tactics and plays when he doesn't have your top players. And those top players are going to be able to perform because they're on the ice. And cap, because you have to make an action soon, or you're going to be stuck in a rebuilding phase where you have these old guys that can't do much. And maybe you get lucky. Maybe you end up in a Pittsburgh Penguins situation where your guys are very expensive and maybe they've had injuries, but they find a way to still perform at high level like Sidney Crosby has been. Or even the Bruins, there's reports that some of their older guys who have been performing very well might retire, which means maybe Brad Marchand ends up getting traded, but for what they've had, though they're older, have been playing very well. And even look at Tampa. They were in a really bad cap situation. Where are they at right now? In the playoffs. A lot of people's favorite in their current series. I don't think cap is as big as a worry as some people may point out. And that's the video. It was pretty much a big rant, but I think there were some decent points in there. So comment. Comment what you think the biggest issue right now that needs to be fixed and how to fix it. And comment in the next 3 years how many times you think Vegas makes the playoffs. I'm saying 2 or 3. And it's tough to say because Vegas went 4 out of 5. They went 4 for 4 and then just barely missed this last year. So it's hard to say, that they're going to miss because they were just right in the cusp. So I'm going to go 2 or 3 or 3 of 3. And it would be the last year that would be the issue because I think cap might catch up. But that's the video. Truly, that's the video. If you enjoyed this content, give me a like. If you're so, maybe give me a dislike. But give me some criticism down below. How can I improve to get that thumbs up next video? Comment all those things I suggested because it truly means a lot. Go follow me on Twitter if you enjoy Twitter and you use Twitter. I have these conversations with you guys all the time, and I tweet, and you hit me back and forth, and I'll have a full-on conversation with you. No worries. My Twitter will be linked down below if you enjoy that. And if you really enjoyed this content, hit subscribe. It's easy. And you know what? If you're iffy on this content, but you want to give me a second chance, go ahead and hit subscribe because it's one click, and it's simple, and then I have the chance to pop back up on there. And if you give me a like, I'll pop back up more. And if you really enjoy this content, you give me a like and a subscribe, then I'll pop up on other people's. That's how the algorithm works, and it really does a lot because when you guys started doing that a couple videos ago, I started really growing a lot faster. So I really appreciate it. But hit subscribe if you enjoy this content because I have content daily, NBA, NHL, and NFL. And if you have ideas, hit me on Twitter or down in the comments down below, and I'll try to use those ideas and convert them into a video, and I'll even put your name up if I feel like it's a very, very good video idea and I use the full idea instead of tweaking it my own way. And I'll ask you, and then I'll put your name up. I'll be like, hey, thanks to this guy for the video idea. But as always, I hope it taught you something today. Hope it made you smile. Hope it made you laugh. That's something that's really important to me. And as always, you guys all be safe out there.